Hello everyone, welcome to Anime No Me, and thank you for joining us for another One Piece video. Roger and Rayleigh had always been the best of friends, but for some reason, Rayleigh didn't save Ace during the big showdown that took his life. So in today's video, we're going to talk about the possible reasons and what could have happened if Rayleigh had helped Luffy in that big confrontation that occurred in Marineford. But before we dive into the video, if you're new to the channel, or even if you've watched a bunch of our videos, we'd be absolutely honored if you'd leave us a like, and even subscribe, and maybe leave us a comment letting us know what you thought of the video. It really helps us out, especially with that old YouTube algorithm, and it keeps motivating us to make more content. And if you'd like to help out the channel in a bigger way, consider sharing this video or another one of your favorites with a friend. But without further ado, let's get into the video. So my friends, Rayleigh, also known as the Dark King, is a very important character in the world of One Piece, and a very valued member of the Roger Pirates crew. And his relationship with Gol D. Roger, the captain of the Roger Pirates, was one of the deepest of trust and friendship. Roger was the vice captain of the Roger Pirates and played a key role in the crew, and he possessed exceptional skills as a swordsman, as well as being a master of haki use. And on top of that, Rayleigh also was known for his intelligence and knowledge of the world, being a very close advisor to Roger. The relationship between Rayleigh and Roger was based on mutual respect and a shared vision of freedom, and they shared a strong emotional connection and had complete trust in each other. And together, they circumnavigated the Grand Line, faced all the different challenges, and strived for greatness in the world. After the Roger Pirates were disbanded, Roger decided to retire from piracy and disappeared from the public view, and he settled on Sabadie Archipelago, an island in the New World where he opened a shop called Coating Coral. This shop served as a front for their more covert activities, as Rayleigh was helping fledgling pirates prepare to face different dangers in the New World. He coated their boats with a special type of bubble to get them through the portal of Fishman Island, thus giving them entrance to the New World. Rayleigh took on the role of a mentor and trainer to determine pirates, passing on his knowledge and skills to younger pirates seeking adventure in the New World. And he taught them about haki and prepared them for the challenges that they would encounter on their journey into this new and more dangerous part of the world. And Rayleigh proved to be a wise and experienced guide, imparting not only combat skills, but also teachings about courage, determination, as well as ethics. And this allowed these pirates to be ready for the great danger that would arise on their journeys further ahead. So although he had left the active pirate life, Rayleigh continued to be an influential character throughout the One Piece story, and he played an exceptionally crucial role during the Sabadie Archipelago arc. The confrontation that occurred in Marineford, also known as the Battle of the Best, was a shocking event in the world of One Piece, in which an intense battle took place between the Marines, led by Akainu, and the Whitebeard pirates in a desperate attempt to rescue Portgas D. Ace, the adopted son of Whitebeard and brother of Luffy. During this confrontation, many wondered why Silver's Rayleigh, the former vice captain of the Roger Pirates and a close friend of Roger, didn't show up to help and save Ace. Now, to understand this complex issue, we need to examine different factors, including Rayleigh's role in the story, Roger's influence, Rayleigh's limits as an individual, and the imminent consequences of his intervention. To understand Rayleigh's decision, it's crucial to consider the role he plays in the One Piece narrative. Rayleigh is presented as an experienced and wise character, one of the most powerful and respected individuals currently in the pirate world. His position as vice captain of the Roger Pirates implies that he is aware of the Pirate King's secrets as well as his desires, and Roger, during his last moments, told Rayleigh that he was waiting for someone who would appear and surpass and bring a new era, someone who could find the One Piece and reveal the truth to the world. And those words had a significant impact on Rayleigh, shaping his future actions. In choosing not to intervene in Marineford, Rayleigh might have been operating under the belief that it was necessary to allow this next generation of pirates to face the challenges and changes in the world themselves. He might have even understood that the era of Roger had come to an end, and it was time for new pirates to emerge and take up the legacy and face their own challenges. Rayleigh likely saw Ace and Luffy as the hope of that new era, and believed that it was his role to allow them to develop as individuals and overcome their own obstacles. Another factor that might have influenced Rayleigh's decision is Roger's own legacy, because during his lifetime, Roger was captured and publicly executed, but he still engineered his own surrender so that the entire world would be drawn into the great age of piracy. Roger wanted people to venture out and discover the One Piece, that ultimate treasure with hidden truth about the world. Had Rayleigh showed up at Marineford and saved Ace, it could have set off a chain of events that would have derailed Roger's plans and even the vision of the world that he had wanted to establish. Another factor that's important to remember as well is that Rayleigh had a very deep understanding of the Navy's power as well as their strategies. He knew the strengths of Marineford and was aware of the admirals and lieutenant admirals that would be present there at the battlefield. Rayleigh may have deduced and judged that his direct intervention could result in unnecessary casualties and eventually wouldn't guarantee the success in the mission to save Ace. So instead, Rayleigh may have relied on the power and skills of Luffy as well as his companions to take on this burden. Now, on top of these narrative factors, we can also consider interesting ideas that could make sense of Rayleigh's decision even further. And one idea is that Rayleigh knew about Kaido's interest in confronting Edward Newgate. Knowing that Kaido was a Yonko as well as a formidable threat, Rayleigh might have understood that rescuing Ace from the Marines could trigger a more violent reaction from Kaido, endangering not only Ace but the Whitebeard pirates themselves and potentially even the rest of the world. If that was the case, Rayleigh could have considered the safety and well-being of a larger number of people rather than just focusing on rescuing Ace to be a greater factor. And if Rayleigh was in Marineford and Kaido managed to get there, it could have triggered an even bigger confrontation, taking many more innocent lives. Rayleigh's decision not to save Ace at Marineford adds depth to the One Piece story, showing that heroes must face challenges and make their own decision in order to reach their destiny. So if you think about it, Luffy and his companion's journey to become the heir of Roger's legacy becomes even more meaningful in the absence of direct intervention from Rayleigh, and this highlights the importance of individual growth and personal responsibility in the pursuit of one's goals. If Rayleigh had decided to show up in Marineford and help save Ace, we would have certainly witnessed a dramatic change in what transpired during that confrontation as well as during the aftermath. As I mentioned earlier, Rayleigh is widely known as one of the most powerful and experienced pirates in the One Piece world, and his skill as a swordsman as well as his mastery of Haki would have been a formidable force to bolster the Whitebeard pirates' efforts during their battle against the Marines. His presence alone, not even just his fighting ability, would have significantly increased the team's combat power, making them an even more fearsome force. Furthermore, Rayleigh would have brought his experience and knowledge to the battle, and his wisdom and understanding of the pirate world would have allowed him to help plan effective strategies as well as coordinate attacks against the Navy. So his leadership skills would have been invaluable to the Whitebeard pirates, providing guidance and direction amidst all the chaos of war. One of the areas where Rayleigh would have made a significant difference is reducing casualty among the Whitebeard pirates, because his combat skill and his ability to protect his allies would have allowed him to avoid many of the losses that occurred during that battle. This would have been particularly significant considering that important characters such as Whitebeard and Ace ended up dying at Marineford. These are irrevocable losses, as these two characters were of extreme importance. But another thing that you could have said is that their deaths were absolutely necessary for the narrative to move forward. One other interesting aspect of Rayleigh's intervention would have been his direct confrontation with some of the Navy admirals. As the former vice captain of the Roger Pirates, he would have definitely had a history of encounters with the Marines, as well as a deep understanding of their skills and tactics, especially those of like Aokiji, Kizaru, and Akainu. Again, just his presence could have led to some epic battles and potentially altered the outcome because of the inspiration he would have led, and also the fact that Rayleigh is a formidable opponent. One other crucial consideration that we'd like to mention would be the effect of Rayleigh's presence on Ace's decision, because as a close friend of Roger, Rayleigh would have had a significant influence on Ace, and his experience and wisdom might have actually convinced Ace to reconsider his actions and seek an alternative solution to the battle at Marineford. Now, this could have drastically changed the course of the story, avoiding the tragic loss of Ace and the consequences on the plot. Beyond the immediate implications, Rayleigh's presence at Marineford would have had a lasting impact on the Navy's reputation, as well as the balance of power in the One Piece world. So ultimately, his intervention could have shown the world the influence and power of the Roger Pirates, therefore diminishing the Navy's credibility and inspiring other pirate crews to rise up against the world government. This could have set a paradigm shift in the pirate world and set in motion a series of very unpredictable events, and we could have been in a very different place than we are now in our story. But now that we've had our say, my friends, we'd now love to know what you think about it. What effects could Rayleigh's intervention have brought on the battlefield at Marineford, and how different do you think the story would currently be versus the way it is now? Secondly, do you think that Ace or Whitebeard would have died had Rayleigh intervened? Now, as we mentioned several times during the video, we did say that, yeah, his presence alone would have been inspiring to the rest of the pirates there. But imagine for just a moment if he had participated a little more directly, and all of the significant changes he could have made on that battlefield, even before Shanks showed up. And then again, what do you think the interaction would have been between him and Shanks? Could that have been kind of more collegial, or would have been adversarial? Because Shanks had already taken all that time and energy to stop Kaido from showing up. Let us know what you think in the comments below. So as we wrap up our video today, we'd like to thank you all so much for watching, especially those of you who've made it here to the very end. Be sure to comment on any themes or ideas that you'd like to see in future videos. And also, since you made it this far, give us a like and hit that subscribe button before you head out to take on the rest of your day. I look forward to seeing you all in our next video. Let's keep sailing this giant sea together. Take care.